Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. My name's Harrison. I'm from Twin Music's Media Australia. And my first question would have to be, what made you get back together and re-release your first two albums?
Well, we never split it. We just took a little break. That's all it was. We were discussing about the third Demons and Wizards album for at least 10 years. And we never found the time because of the simple fact that Iced Earth and Blind Guardian are quite successful and we're touring all the time. And whenever we found a spot, it finally turned out that there was no spot at all because one or the other band has had another obligation. And the other reason is it didn't appear for us so long. So we really started talking about this album 5 years ago. And about the third album, about a third possible album. We started songwriting maybe 2 or 3 years ago when you sent the first stuff to me.
Yeah, 3.
And then another break happened again. And that brings us into 2018 when we finally said we need to go back and do some work for Demons and Wizards. We were asked in almost every interview, you know, when Demons and Wizards would happen. And whysoever, at that moment, also all the promoters just, you know, bombarded us with requests for concerts, for shows to play. And so we said, yeah, we're good for shows and we will do the album, and that's where we are at. And obviously, since our contract with SPV has been terminated in 2015, there was a need to re-release the albums, and this was the best spot we could imagine, because it's quite a decent run for us, you know, having the re-releases, doing these festivals, and then coming up with a spectacular new album.
Hi, I'm Amelia from twinmusics.com. I'll ask you my signature question. So if you could have any band perform one of your songs, which band would it be? Which song would it be? And would it be in your style or their style?
Well, I mean, we both like Mumford & Son. So if they did a Demons and Wizards song, that would be quite a trip, and we would make some money. That would be also very, very, very helpful.
That would be cool. Yeah.
It's not that we think about retirement, but we feel it's somewhere there.
Yeah.
Somewhere there must be the retirement horizon. Mumford
not here,
& Sons.
but it might be there.
Yeah, exactly. And their style would be also appreciated, right? In doing
Sure, why not?
any of the songs.
Yeah. Why not?
But I would be anxious to see what they do with a song like The Gunslinger, for example.
Okay, hi there. I'm Joseph from Live TV. I just want to first say what an honor it is to meet the two of you. Super excited just to be talking to you right now. But the question that I have for you is that obviously, as Hansi just mentioned, the reaction to the fact that you guys are putting out a new album and touring again has been very swift and intense. And has that made you rethink possibly the frequency in which you release albums and maybe the idea of maybe touring more than once every 20 years?
Well, as far as the frequency of releasing records, yes. I mean, we are committed to make it more of a priority. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And at least in the foreseeable future, we're going to have 2 studio albums and a live album coming out. I mean, that's our plan. So as far as touring goes, I think it's going to be a question of special event kind of stuff, you know, festivals and special events, because Demons and Wizards is a special thing. This is a thing that goes back to our bond, which is we met each other in 1990. We toured together, both bands, in 1991. We became like brothers back then. That has never changed. And we have, you know, visited each other through the years, and it was like 6 or 7 or 8 years after we met each other that we found out that we could actually write songs together. So that brought our relationship to another level. And besides just getting drunk and having fun and laughing like idiots, we actually realized, hey, we can write songs. So we've been able to, we've wanted to do this for years, but it's always about scheduling conflicts. You know, both bands are very busy. We're the leader of both bands. We make shit happen. We work a lot of hours that doesn't have anything to do with necessarily being in the studio or being on tour. It's a lot of hours of office work actually as well. And so that makes it difficult for the schedules to line up. It did this time, and we committed last year. We got to make this happen, and so we are. And I think you can expect another studio album within a few years, and a live album probably in late 2020.
Yeah.
Maybe 2021. So yeah, it's coming, man. Don't worry. I mean, there's some magic flying, and we know that. I mean, the press has always reminded us of that through the years. So.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Sian from Mittelmat TV. So how do you feel here at Hellfest? This is my first question. And the second one, is there a country where you want to play? I mean, a place where it's difficult to play? I think of Middle East or Egypt.
I can't hear you very well.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry. There is a country where do you want to play, and it's a little bit difficult to play in this country? No?
And we've
sorry.
played all over this world. I mean, it's like, but I can't think of one.
In Middle East?
Well, I can.
Yeah?
Actually, yeah, because when we played with Blind Guardian in Japan in, I don't know, it was in the 90s, there was a lot of press from all over Asia. And there were many people from Indonesia. They wanted to take us over. But then there was a change whatsoever in the political system, and we never made it to Indonesia. And this would be one of the countries which I personally have never played, and it wouldn't matter if it is with Blind Guardian or with Demons and Wizards. I would love to play because the people are so dedicated to the music and so funny. I mean, really funny people. I would love to play there. That would be one of the countries I've not traveled. Other than that, I'm really like John. You know, I would be completely blank right now what to answer if that was not the case with the Indonesian people, which have made a difference. The show today and France in general is a blast always, and this turned out to be such a fantastic festival over the years. We played here with Blind Guardian at either the first or the second time it was going on, and that was quite an adventure, to say it that way. And now it's maybe the most established festival in Europe.
This, to me, it's amazing. Hellfest is amazing. I mean, from a fan perspective, it's got to be one of the coolest things to ever do. We played here. I mean, Iced Earth played, I think maybe in 2008 the first time, and then we played last year on the day that Maiden played, and Stu and I were up in the VIP area watching the whole thing, and I was just like, this is fucking awesome. This is like, you know, people, there's a lot of great festivals in Europe especially, but there's a special vibe about this one. It's really cool. It's grown so awesome, and the lineups every year are amazing, so it's really cool.
Yeah, it's
really
a good
great.
taste, you know, in the mixture of bands. That's one thing, and the other thing is the setup itself. You know, it is demanding, like having cold showers. It's not the best thing, and if there's not a hanger to, you know, to get your clothes hang up, that's not good. But apart from that, it's really, really well designed. Everyone is paying a lot of attention, and the people are so dedicated. Not only the ones who are doing the festivals, but also the fans. You can really feel that.
Yeah, but the backstage is better than it was last year, so it's a step-by-step process. Really cold showers kind of sucks, but at least there's a few toilets for people backstage.
And
That's
I used
nice.
the shower, and my clothing ended up in the lake. So I went back to the bus, and now here I am, cleaned completely.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We discovered earlier in the performance the live lineup, which is basically Ice Guardian, I would say.
On stage, yes.
Yeah, and so is this lineup also will be performing with you on the future album? Are they officially part of the band, or is it only a live lineup?
You know, the thing about with Demons and Wizards is it's Hansi and I. It's our thing, and we work with very talented people, regardless of what period. Whether you look at the first album or the second album or the new album, and what's happening live, what's happening on the new studio album is different than what's happening live right now. So there's always going to be really talented musicians in that. And we on this new album that we're recording right now, there will be 5 different engineers working on it because we're working in different parts of the world. So you don't have to worry about the quality of whoever the players are. There may be some guys that are on the stage right now that'll play on a future record. Jake from Iced Earth played a couple solos, but there's other people that were involved. Brent from Iced Earth played the drums on the record, the new album, but he's not doing the tour. Frederick's doing the tour, and Marcus, who's a long brother as long as this guy, rhythm guitar player in Blind Guardians, playing bass in Demons and Wizards. So we don't know. We don't really concern ourselves with that because whoever we work with is going to be talented, they're going to be committed, and they're going to be part of our families, whether it's the Iced Earth or Blind Guardian family. There's always going to be our people involved in that. That's what it was in the beginning, and that's what it's always going to be. So.
Hi, this is Vidur from Metalwani, India. My question is that given the new album has been in work for so long, how has the process been different from the first 2 albums? And is there like a huge evolution in sound? And what direction are you heading in overall?
There will be a huge evolution in sound. That's naturally by the 20 years in between the first album and this one. And even the Touched by the Crimson King album has been recorded in 2005. So there were so many developments. I would be surprised if there's no evolution. And having, as John mentioned, 5 engineers involved, that's also making a difference. Even though we go back to Jim Morris, who's going to do the final mixing, and we have done some work with him already. The process, has it changed? I don't think so. We exchanged ideas. We were burning. I mean, that's the good thing about songwriting. I mean, you always try your best. You don't want to do second best. It doesn't matter with whom artist you are working and when you are working on it. It is always to deliver the best. And I have to say, by what we have accomplished so far, and the songs are finished in the composing, I just have to do some singing, then we have to do some ear candy here and there. But other than that, all the stuff is done. And I think we have 11 songs. And I personally would say they're all top-notch. They define what Demons and Wizards is for sure, but you can also figure that there are like 15 years in between this album and the last one. And we have changed as persons. We become different characters. The approach was the same in many ways. Of course, John had a little break where he gathered energy and provided me with the stuff, but then it was a sort of ping pong situation as we have had in the past, and that just went perfect.
Yeah, I mean, this cycle was different because at the end of the Incorruptible album cycle, I went out to the mountains in Arizona and hiked for a month and spent 1 week with my bandmates because we were going on hiatus. So the 5 of us went out into the desert, stayed together, and then I stayed 3 weeks by myself and got an enormous amount of power from that and energy from just staying away from the music business and not talking to management. I talked to Hansi about twice. And other than that, I was completely disconnected from everybody. And it was a really great thing. So when I got back to songwriting, it was like, boom. I mean, just everything went really fast. And I knew that was really, really strong material. And it's good. And the arrangements came and everything came. And I started sending Hansi stuff. And, then I knew from an instrumental standpoint that this is some of the best material I've ever written. And then when he added his stuff on top, it was like, okay, we have something really special for the people. And at the end of the day, I actually don't care if you guys love it, because I do, and he does. And that sounds harsh, but that's art, and it's honest. It's actually honest, and it's real, and it is actually some of the best material I've written in my entire life from my standpoint. And what he's done, it's killer. And people are going to be shocked, I think, very pleasantly shocked by what's coming, honestly.
Hi again. Given that you're both from separate bands and you've come together, the question is, if you could collaborate with any other band in the world, living or dead, who would you pick and why?
Who are you asking?
Both.
You want to go?
I've been asked that question a couple of times. but I'm grounded. I'm really loving to work with the guys in Blind Guardian, and I'm loving to work with John. I'm happy with that. And yeah, I have my favorite bands, of course. But do I want to work with them? Do I want to spoil what they have done? No.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I've worked with so many great people and great singers, man, and you could put together your fantasy of like what would it be, but just because it sounds like a cool idea doesn't mean it would be any good. Let's get Neil Peart and Steve Harris and like I don't know, Steve Harris and Bruce Dickinson. That's too much, right? But it's like it's like
Steve
come on. I
Harris.
mean, I've worked with so many great singers and great musicians. Whatever comes. I'm
It's
good.
the way. It's just the fun, it doesn't matter with whom you work. I worked with the guys from Awful Land, and I was so pleasantly surprised. I knew their music, and I've been also involved in so many different projects, and sometimes you're just blown away by the creativity of other people, and whether they are famous or not, it doesn't make a difference. That's another cool thing, yeah. Yeah, I don't even know if it's released so far, but that was really cool, yeah.
So, hello, I am Axel from...
Hold it like that.
Yeah,
I can't hear you.
like that. I am Axel from Metarian Magazine, Heretic Magazine and Maroc, and I have two questions for you. There is a French band that opened for you several times called Acid Empire. I would like to know if you have seen them live or not.
Say the band's name again?
Acid Empire, a French band that has opened for you last month.
I don't understand.
No?
Vampire?
No, Acid Empire. No? No.
I can't understand what you're saying.
Oh, never mind. My second question was, you will play.
Turn it up.
You will play at Metal Days this summer, yeah? You are headlining. Is there any special gigs that you are preparing for this festival or not?
Oh, we have some special stuff planned. Yeah. Is that you're talking about from production standpoint? Yeah, there's going to be some pretty cool stuff on stage happening. I don't want to spoil it, but it's going to be cool. And
We do magic.
Vakken's going to be really cool. So yeah, there's some good shit coming, man.
It's going to be our last question right here.
Hello, this is Jaime from Mexico, the tour. Just one question. You're going to play for the very first time in USA. How do you feel about it? Do you have plans to play in Mexico or Latin America?
I mean, I'm happy for Demons and Wizards to come to the States for sure. I think it's going to be a pretty awesome response. I mean, you have to understand the first album was only available as an import back then, and it was still successful. And the second album had limited distribution, and it was still successful because apparently people like our chemistry, man. I don't know. It still works after all these years, and
They don't see our true nature.
The shows are going to be cool. I don't know exactly what to expect. Ticket sales look really good in some places, and it's going to be great. And as far as Mexico and South America and stuff like that, I mean, we'll see. Our biggest priority right now is kicking ass in Europe and in the States, making this record that's so amazing so far, taking it to the finish line, making it amazing the whole way through, all the way through mastering, and then we'll take the next step after that.
Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.